Nau mai, haere mai, welcome to 3 News. After complaining how long the Te Pāti Māori Haka saga has been dragging on, the government has blindsided Parliament this afternoon by voting for it to drag on for at least another 2 weeks. The reason? It was starting to distract from Thursday's budget. While the government's saying it'll allow time to lower the temperature of the debate, opposition parties are accusing the government of making it up as they go along. Lloyd Burr reports.
A haka outside the Parliament, protesting the proposed punishment handed down for this haka inside Parliament last November. A Parliament that today was all set to decide the fate of 3 Te Pāti Māori MPs who took part.
All 3 members have each committed a contempt to the House.
Judith Collins chairs Parliament's Rule Enforcing Privileges Committee, which has recommended a 3-week ban without pay for co-leaders Debbie Ngarewa-Packer and Rawiri Waititi, and a 1-week ban for Hannah Rafiti Maipi-Clarke, but it needs to pass through Parliament, a debate which started today.
We have never seen a sanction of this nature in New Zealand's history before. We've had members undertaking fistfights in the lobbies, and they were not suspended at all. We've had members driving tractors and Land Rovers up the front steps of Parliament, and they were not sanctioned. We have had a recent case where a member left their chair, walked to the other side of the House, stood over a member, thumped the table, and they were not sanctioned.
But just as Hipkins had made his argument, a spanner in the works came from National.
Honourable Chris Bishop.
I move that this debate be now adjourned to Thursday, 5 June 2025.
A spanner that then got technical and somewhat confusing.
The question is that the amendment to the motion is agreed to. The Honourable Chris Bishop. No, it's procedural. Mr Hipkins has moved an amendment. I'm just saying that's what we now debate. You may now move whatever you want to.
Mr Speaker, that this is an adjournment motion
That's
which is technically non-debatable.
Yeah, I know it is. Look, hang on a minute, people. Just get a bit calm here.
But it was hardly calm after the adjournment motion passed and opposition MPs left the chamber blindsided.
We've been trying to talk to them for the last 48 hours. They haven't even bothered to return phone calls, and then they do this. They just look like they're out of their depth. I don't know what they're doing.
National were asked if they had any motions, any amendments, and they denied. So it seems like they're playing buggery with the House. They are intentionally creating chaos and throwing their weight around like bullies.
I think they panic, Lloyd. I think they panic. They know that, they don't want, this could have gone on and on and on. And so, they want to get a budget out, so they probably came to their senses here.
The impending budget certainly was a factor.
I've just made the decision, or the government has made the decision, that given the importance of the budget to the process, it's better to just adjourn the debate for now. Let's just take the temperature down a notch. Emotions are running high. It's a heated issue, I acknowledge that. Let's just take the temperature down a notch and we'll debate it in a couple of weeks' time.
Can you tell me who decided it and what time you decided that this was going to be?
It's been a collective government decision across the 3 coalition parties.
And so what time did that come through, though?
Well, you don't need to know the ins and outs of exactly when.
No, we do, because we talked to you before you went into caucus, and then we talked to you on the bridge run, and this took everyone by surprise.
Yes, so not a single person asked me whether I was going to move to defer the debate. So if you'd asked me that, maybe I would have answered. I could have.
And another reminder, this is what the debate is over. Maipi-Clarke starting a haka during the first reading of the Treaty Principles Bill in November last year. Her co-leaders joined in, all 3 leaving their seats to direct the haka at the ACT Party, which created the bill. Ngarewa-Packer is accused of using her hand as a pretend gun to shoot them, not once, but twice. Labour's Peony Hennaday also left his seat to join in the haka, but he has since apologised and isn't facing suspension. Although both sides agreeing on one thing.
For most New Zealanders, they're worried about the economy, the cost of living, the health service. They don't want politicians having squabbles about the rules.
People in New Zealand don't want to see politicians squabbling amongst each other.
But there was plenty of that on show, even before the stop-start debate. Winston Peters taking a jab at Te Pāti Māori.
The issue of Maorification. Would it be Maorification if every Thursday I went down and got myself a suntan?
No, we're not going to do that.
A question that saw him temporarily kicked out of the House.
Where I made the point before to the Honourable Ngarewa-Packer.
So the haka outside Parliament, Lloyd, that we saw at the beginning of your story there, that was a poignant moment for Te Pāti Māori.
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty epic spectacle, to be honest. There were around, a couple of hundred protesters and Te Pāti Māori supporters who had been out here most of the afternoon actually, and when that adjournment debate, or when the debate was adjourned I should say, when that was over, Te Pāti Māori MPs and their staff and their supporters, they came out onto the forecourt, and as soon as they did, the protesters and their supporters just erupted into this incredible haka. It really was pretty epic, and the sound of it, it echoed all around the Parliament, all around the buildings, and you could even hear it from our office inside. And then each of the co-leaders and Maipi-Clarke, they stood up, each of them addressing the crowd. Things got pretty emotional as well. The crux of what they told the crowd though is, we are not going away, we are going to fight this. And what the government might have done by delaying this by 2 weeks is actually giving Te Pāti Māori and their supporters another 2 weeks to organise an even bigger protest and an even bigger haka for when this comes back to the House in 2 weeks' time.
So Lloyd, a big day of protest there today, but there's another protest that's coming tomorrow. What is that one about?
Yeah, it's a completely different group, but they're still protesting the government. 1,500 Ministry of Education workers are going to go on strike for an hour tomorrow. These aren't teachers, these are people who are in what's called the back office. They're the ones who write the curriculum, who run the learning support system. They're the one who run the property and the buildings and all of that type of stuff. They're striking for an hour tomorrow. The crux of what they're angry about is there's a proposed 2-year freeze on pay bans, and there's also some restrictions on working from home as well. And I think it's the first time that this group of people from this ministry with this union, it's the first time they've striked in more than 2 decades, more than 20 years. So that's pretty significant. It's the last thing that the government wants on the eve of the budget.
Okay, Lloyd, thanks so much.